global news update on top Accolade News. From Washington to Paris, Seoul to Sydney, the headlines tonight reveal a world wrestling with power, politics, and people's everyday lives. Let's cut straight into the headlines. Trump pushes death penalty for Washington murders. French polls signal overwhelming demand for snap election and Macron's exit. South Korea bans smartphones in classrooms. India faces economic shock as US imposes 50% tariffs on export. In Washington, the crime debate has taken a dramatic turn as Trump pushes death penalty for Washington murders. President Donald Trump said his administration will seek the death penalty for all murders in Washington, D.C., framing it as part of a broader crime crackdown. The move follows a deployment of armed military and National Guard units to the Capitol.
By the way, speaking of that, anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment, capital punishment. If somebody kills somebody in the Capitol, Washington.
While most murders fall under local law with life imprisonment as the maximum, federal charges could enable capital punishment. Trump hinted at extending the policy to cities like Baltimore, Chicago, and New York, drawing sharp criticism from leaders and right groups. Studies show how little evidence the death penalty deters crime, but Trump dismissed concerns, saying, "Some call me a dictator, but I call it stopping crime." And while Washington debates law and order, France faces political disorder of its own, as French polls signal overwhelming demand for snap elections and Macron's exit. The majority of French voters want both new parliamentary and presidential elections, with up to 69% favoring a snap vote and two-thirds calling for President Emmanuel Macron to resign if Prime Minister François Bayrou loses his September 8th confidence vote on the tough 2026 budget plan. The minority government is almost certain to collapse as opposition parties vow to reject Beyrou's €44 billion austerity package, which includes scrapping holidays and freezing spending. With the far-right National Rally pulling strongest for a future government, France faces political paralysis amid rising debt and public discontent. In a nation famed for revolutions, the ballot box now threatens to become Macron's end. From a country questioning its leaders to a country questioning its classrooms, South Korea bans smartphones in classrooms. South Korea has passed a bill banning mobile phones and digital devices in classrooms from March 2026, citing rising fears over social media addiction among students. The legislation, backed across party lines, follows similar moves in Australia and the Netherlands, and comes as surveys show nearly all South Koreans own smartphones, with many teenagers reporting anxiety when disconnected. While exceptions will remain for students with disabilities or educational views, critics argue the ban infringes on children's rights. In one of the world's most wired nations, the struggle is no longer about connectivity. It is about learning when to disconnect. And while Seoul weighs the cost of disconnection, New Delhi is counting the cost of trade as India faces economic shock as US imposes 50% tariffs on exports. India faces a major economic blow as new 50% US tariff take effect, targeting $48.2 billion in exports after a Trump order over Indian purchases of Russian oil. The duties hit key sectors like textile, leather, gems, food and autos, raising fear of job losses and slower growth. Pharmaceuticals and electronics are exempt, but many shipments are now unviable. Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed to protect farmers and small businesses as stalled trade talks add to uncertainty. For exporters, the tariffs are an absolute shock, showing how fast global politics can turn livelihoods into collateral damage. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. of sovereignty under pressure, let's head north to the Arctic, where Denmark summons US diplomat over alleged influence operations in Greenland. Denmark's foreign minister has summoned the top US diplomat in Copenhagen after reports that 3 Americans tied to the Trump administration ran covert influence operations in Greenland, a mineral-rich Arctic territory. The move follows Trump's stated interest in acquiring Greenland, with thoughts not ruled out. He warned any interference in Denmark's affairs is unacceptable. The US Embassy has not commented, but the incident heightens tension over sovereignty in a region where ice and minerals meet diplomacy. From cold geopolitics to a heated fight over weapons and peace in the Middle East, US envoy proposes economic incentives to ease Hezbollah's weapon surrender. US envoy Tom Barrack said Gulf states including Qatar and Saudi Arabia are ready to fund an economic zone in southern Lebanon to provide jobs for Hezbollah members if they disarm. Speaking in Beirut, he stressed the need to replace livelihoods long back by Iran. The Lebanese army will present its disarmament plan by September 2nd, while Israel still holds strategic border points after last year's war killed 4,000 and caused $11 billion in damages. Amnesty International has flagged widespread destruction, with Barrack warning, "You can't take their weapons and say good luck planting olive trees. Economic stability must follow peace." We have a cheerful story in entertainment. Taylor Swift and NFL star Travis Kelce announced engagement. Taylor Swift and Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce announced their engagement on social media, sharing photos of his proposal. The couple both began dating in 2023 after Swift's Arrowhead show and has since supported each other on tour and at games. The playful caption drew millions of likes and congratulations, though no wedding date is set yet. From stadium cheers to global headlines, the engagement show love can score the ultimate touchdown. And finally, to a different milestone, this one in sport and in honesty, as ex-AFL player Mitch becomes league's first openly gay or bisexual man. Former West Coast Eagles defender Mitch Brown has come out as bisexual, becoming the first openly gay or bisexual man in the AFL's 129-year history. Brown, who played 94 matches from 2007 to 2016, said hiding his sexuality contributed to his early retirement amid a culture of hypermasculinity and homophobia. This revelation follows recent AFL controversies over slurs, sparking renewed debate on inclusivity in men's sport. Long criticized as the last major men's league without an openly gay player, the AFL now faces a cultural turning point where toughness gives way to truth. From Washington's crime debate to Brown's truth in sports, tonight's stories remind us real power isn't just about policy or politics. It is about the choices people make when the world is watching. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day and keep watching the global news updates on Top Accolade News.